Okay, so what are the most successful people doing? 5 things these people do every single day in order to get the result of fat loss, weight loss, higher performance, things of that nature. Number 1 is they weigh themselves daily. Now, hear me out. People are always like, well, I don't want to weigh myself every day because I just put too much emphasis on the scale because the scale doesn't matter. And that's true. The scale is very relative. It doesn't show a lot. There's a lot behind the scenes that it doesn't show. However, it is a measurable data point. Okay, so if you can weigh yourself every day and detach the emotion from it and let somebody else handle that data, those people are who get the most results. Here's why. Because if I weigh myself on Monday and I say, I'm just gonna weigh myself once a week, well, guess what? All week, that is all that you're thinking about. Oh, I gotta weigh in on Monday. I gotta weigh in on Monday. I better not eat too much on Sunday night. And then you weigh yourself on Monday and you haven't budged a bit. And then that vicious cycle of what I'm doing just isn't working. I'm gonna try another fad diet, or I'm just gonna give up, starts to happen. So if you weigh yourself every day, you're gonna see more trends. Okay, so if I'm 140 pounds on Monday, and I don't weigh myself until next Monday, and I'm 140 pounds, right? And I don't weigh myself every day, and I'm sticking to my macros, I'm training hard, I have the guidance of a coach, I don't see the small little dips underneath that 140 line. Maybe I ate really, really well. Maybe I drank a lot of water, and maybe I hit my macros perfectly or whatever, and you're not seeing that downward trend. So something happens on Sunday night and you have a lot of food later at night, or you had like some higher sodium foods, and then you're back up to 140, especially for women, we are fluctuating all the time. So now you're back up to 140 and you're like, shit, I didn't do good at all. I'm gonna give up, I'm gonna decrease my calories more, I'm just gonna go keto or some other bullshit like that. See what I'm saying? You're not seeing all those trends, and that is huge for you to see, especially when you're just starting out and you're learning how your body reacts to certain things. So while weight isn't the end all be all, and the scale, at the end of the day, the scale is just a number, but it's an important number that people are putting way more stock into what they're weighing, like what their weight looks like on a week basis, that they're stressing out over it way too much. And actually weighing yourself every day is going to eliminate that. It just becomes a habit. I get up, I pee, I strip down, I get on the scale, boom, just plug it in, no big deal. But if I were to weigh myself once a week, I would be nervous. And we want to eliminate that nervous feeling, because this journey is already so crazy that we need to ground ourselves as much as we can. Along with that, so 1A is they take pictures weekly. The scale may not reflect the way that you look. Everybody knows that, right? The scale does not reflect body composition. So you could be 150 pounds starting out and then end up at like 145, but your body looks completely different. And you can ask Emily Spencer about that, and I'll tag her below. How her weight is actually a little higher or kind of steady, but her body has completely changed just because the way that she's training and the way that she's eating. Second is they never miss a weekly check-in or bi-weekly, whatever your coach has in plan for you. Missing a check-in is lazy, and it's really doing you a disservice to get the most results. The clients who check in with me weekly, send me their food weekly, or send me an email, schedule a call with me, those clients have the most success because there's accountability piece there. They know they have to check in with their coach, and they're just getting in the habit of reporting back and being like, hey, these are my issues, these are my changes, these are my concerns, and then I can in turn help and fix that. I also don't miss a check-in with my coach. You can ask Bryce. Sometimes I'm a little bit later as far as hours go, but every single week I'm sending that check-in. They manage their time and plan ahead. I cannot stress this enough, but you have to make time to plan. So everybody's like, I'm just gonna sit down and I'm gonna plan out my day. You have to make time to plan that, or you'll be planning your day for like way too long. Schedule your time out where you're gonna put 10 minutes aside at the end of the day to plan out your next day. Only 10 minutes. If it takes longer than 10 minutes, just be done, because that's too long. I like to plan out my day right when I wake up in the morning. I can go over my morning routine at a later date. I have changed some things up. But those who do not plan, whether they're not planning their meals, which is not cooking in advance, you don't have to do an elaborate food prep, but there's got to be some sort of, either I cut my veggies, I trimmed my chicken, I did cook my meat, at least some meats, or I did cook my carbs. There's got to be some plan of action, because if you're not planned, then things will just spiral downhill. And I feel like that's been beaten with a dead horse, or I don't even know that analogy, whatever. I feel like that's been said so many times, but it's so true that, guys, if you do not plan, and you're still so new to this, if you don't plan, then you're going to start making excuses as to why you're going through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. For me, I could go a little bit more on the fly because I've been tracking and I've been planning for 4 or 5 years, so I can do that, and eventually that is the goal. But until then, we do need to be pretty structured in our planning, in our time management. See where you're managing your time. If you're scrolling through Instagram you might be scrolling through Instagram like 2 hours a day. I urge you to go onto Instagram, and you can actually set how long, let's say you don't want to spend more than 30 minutes on Instagram a day. It can alert you when you're on Instagram, like, hey, you've spent 30 minutes on Instagram. Oh shit, that could have been 30 minutes. I was cooking my food for the next day, or cooking my food for the week. It's all in perspective. That is the third thing. The fourth thing is pretty simple. You're gonna allocate. You gotta allocate your plan to a coach or a professional. So those who are successful have their own coach. I have my own coach for training and nutrition separately, and that has how I've always had my own for as long as I can remember. When I started my fitness journey, I didn't have a coach from the first 2 bikini competitors. I had people to help me, give me advice, but never my own coach that I actually invested in. And what a difference. What a difference. So if you're going at your plan blindly, that could be why you're not getting results. You need to have somebody who's looking at your data, who has to help you manage your time and to help you do the things that are going to get you on track to really succeed. Those of you who are great at doing your own plan, that's awesome. But if you have super quantifiable goals to hit, either performance or weight loss, fat loss, muscle gain side, you really do need to hire somebody. Those who are entrepreneurs, they have business coaches. Hiring somebody, outsourcing somebody to do something for you that's going to save up your time and energy and to help you reach your goals at the same time, you're going to benefit greatly from that. The last thing that successful people do to reach their goals are to recover. Training is not a stress relief, it is a stressor on the body. So if you're training twice a day, 3 times a day because it helps you relieve stress, that's an actual problem, because then you're not recovering. So when we train, we do not, we break down our muscle tissue. Okay, we're releasing cortisol. We are catabolic. So you have to recover properly in order to get the results you want, right? When you're cycling in a spin class, look to your right, look to your left. Those people haven't changed their body in 4 months. They look exactly the same. That's not a coincidence. It's because you're not letting your body recover, and you're looking at exercise as a way to punish yourself for what you're eating, and not in order to celebrate what your body can do and get stronger. So a lot of people are like, I'm gonna go to the gym twice a day, 7 days a week. Those people either they do reach their goal, but they burn out and then they spiral downhill and start back up, or they just end up looking the same because they cannot recover. And I know Anthony's talked a lot about recovery too in the past. So those are the 5 things that successful people do every day, weigh themselves every day and take weekly pictures, never miss a check-in, they manage their time, plan ahead, they allocate, outsource to a coach, and they recover. That's it. It's simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Thank you guys for listening, and see you soon.